Hi, my name is Sally Barnard, an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer. Welcome to Call Me Zena, a true story into the spiritual realms. Join me as I sit and discuss the journey of self-discovery, and with the help of my spirit guides, it's time to trust your intuition. Sit with me and call in live 888-994-4995 Studio A. And now onto the show. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to my show. Welcome back to my show, and any new listeners, welcome to my show. Okay, so we're minus Freddie today, okay? We normally have Dawn and Freddie and some guest speakers. Well, we have Heather sitting here.
Minus
we have
Freddie
some people
plus
floating
Heather
around over there, and we have a lot of spirits in the room, and of course we have Dawn. Hi, Dawn.
Hey, Sally. Happy
Hi.
Monday.
Happy Monday to you, too.
Always a treat to be on your show.
Oh, I love that, because if you didn't, we've got a problem.
But we've been talking a lot before the show about maybe just bringing back some of your psychic energies to talk to people.
Yeah, because actually a conversation before this was very similar. What you were asking me, I was thinking about in my car, because I do not prepare, as you know, everybody knows in the studio here. I have no idea what the questions are. I don't even sometimes even know the guests before they show up. But you know what? They're all welcome, the spirits, and they join in. So I think maybe ask me whatever you want to, Dawn. Today's subject, I believe we had said, and I don't remember, but
We had talked about different things that you experience in life, but we decided to reframe it in a positive light.
Yes, exactly.
So we can even just start with, how do you set a positive frequency?
Well, I think it's mindset, which actually I was thinking about too. It's really everything that happens to us is up to us, because I believe that we manifest more than we realize that we do. So if we're going to have a good day, we have a good day.
Yeah.
Think how many people say, oh, my day, I'm having a bad day. Guess what
They're gonna
happens
have a bad
to them?
day.
They have a bad day. So it's our mindset. And I was in sales, as we were just talking about, for many years. And I knew a lot of this, but you know what, when I used to hear it many years ago, and 7 o'clock in the morning, and I had to meet people, they say, be positive. Well, I used to think, oh, here we go again. But you know, looking back on that now, and I did change my attitude, and I did okay in sales, but a lot to do with what they started to talk about in our morning meetings, and it was all very positive. If anybody out there remembers Zig Ziglar, he was really, we used to listen to him at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I go, oh my gosh, there he goes again. But you know what? It works. It definitely works.
It was mindset and positivity.
Mindset and positivity. And I believe that's really important. We are what we think.
You're the creator of your own reality.
That's correct. Absolutely.
So we were talking about that before the show. So
Yeah.
life is hard, life is difficult, or are we the creator of our own reality, which means we choose to make it difficult.
And I think the most important part about this whole thing is that we believe that. Because without that belief system within us, we just continue going on without really thinking. One thing happens and another then another. But if we can really train ourselves to believe that if we start thinking differently, that something different will happen. Because, well, how does the saying go? You keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Well, if you don't change that mindset, you won't get, well, you can get the different result, but I think it's better to stay positive.
So the question is, what if life isn't meant to be hard, but instead meaningful?
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Well, life is hard. I don't think anybody escapes that. And I've been hearing recently, and I kind of believe it because I've had a hard life too. And the more harder your life is, the more you become spiritually aware of it. Not everybody, but you begin to think, why does this keep happening to me? But when you start to think about it, and think and change that mindset, you're getting into more of what I'm going to call a spiritual mode. It's a different way of thinking, which we were just talking about. So I'm going back to the question again. I was about to answer it.
What if life isn't meant to be hard? Heather says you create your own reality, but rather it's meaningful.
Yes, because if you can turn, which I've often said, out of a negative, which you cannot see that meaningfulness, into a positive, you begin to see what was already there in the first place. It's just taken you longer to maybe solve a problem because you were so negative and it keeps repeating. But if you can say to yourself, anybody, it doesn't matter whether you believe what I'm saying or not, but I think it's good to say, I believe that somebody's helping me and this is for a reason, or helping myself more or less. If you change that mindset, attitude, things will get better. It may not be right away, but you've got to believe it. The most important part about this whole thing is if you have to believe this, because otherwise you just continue going through life with so many. We all have obstacles in our lives. Nobody can escape that. We have problems, we have situations, and it doesn't, people say as you get older it gets easier. I don't really think it does. I mean, you know, it's just that I look at it differently to how I did before, even before, obviously, before I understood this. I definitely do look at things differently today.
Because I feel as if you have so many years of life experiences that I guess we create, but yet things still aren't perfect. Right, things still happen and you're still working through changes that you want to make happen.
Exactly, but what I realize today is that I truly believe that I can make it happen. I mean, I'm not saying everything, because also, again, it may not be for my highest purpose. And I think when I ask for something today, and I've heard other people say that, for my highest well-being, because we're learning till we pass. And then we go on and we still learn, because life is a journey. And if you have more obstacles, you're learning more than if everything was just plain sailing and you don't really take in what's happening or even the results. You're not really benefiting or learning from it.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense, makes far more sense to me today than it did 20 years ago.
So how do we begin to see life as supportive is the question instead of challenging?
By changing what we see it and how we see it. So I actually say now, if something happens, and it's not all the time, what am I learning from this situation? Because if I'm not learning something, I'm not really learning. So I believe in karma, you know, and we come back and we repeat it. Now, most of my listeners that have tuned in, that tune in every week, I'm sure they have the same belief system, otherwise they wouldn't be listening to me. But you will come back, and even in this lifetime, and we'll repeat the same thing. But you look at it, if you look at it differently, it'll have a different outlook, different perspective.
Do you believe in bad karma? Because there's a lot of discussion about this person's going to have bad karma. They did something bad to me or something wrong, and then they're like, oh, they're going to get what's coming to them.
I think the choice is ours, actually, Heather. Because if you believe that, guess what's going to happen? So if something happens, or you have a situation, but there are situations we don't even know, because in other lifetimes we're coming back to solve that situation with that person. But if you believe that it's for a purpose, you can change that out of a lot of things. If your mind, it's really mindset again. Because if that bad thing keeps happening, there has to be a reason for that. And that alone is beginning to change that bad thing, whatever it may be, because you're aware of that now. And by being aware of what keeps happening and you want it to stop, we have the power to do that.
So you think bad karma is just someone's negative mindset?
I believe so, and our own too. Because if you believe you keep doing this and, this is going to happen to me again, no matter what it is, it could be any situation, and again, what usually happens? It keeps happening again. Or I keep making the same mistakes. When you now, after keep making the same mistakes, have the opportunity to change that mistake, because the most important is believe and be aware of what's happening. So to me, I mean, I don't know where I'm getting this information from, but it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying that before. I mean, does Sally know half of this? I don't know.
No, it just comes
but
to
I know you said sometimes experience, but I haven't had all this experience. So they're helping me, but not just me, they help all of us.
Yeah. Karma is different than mindset.
Karma is a mindset, yes, but because if you don't know, or you can meet somebody and you automatically, I'm getting a bad vibration, go with that, because there may be a lesson to learn with that bad vibration. And you go, well, I don't want anything to do with that person. Well, maybe you need to, because maybe that you're drawn together for a reason. You know, you want to go through the rest of your life with this, what we would call bad karma, but it's up to us to change that. Basically, that's what I think I'm saying. If you're getting bad vibes, let's call it, from someone, change it. However you want to, change it. You have the power. Everybody has the power to change the situation. I mean, unless there's really something that, is out of our control, and some things are out of our control. I admit that too.
We were talking last week about Freddie says, why don't you like this person? Or why do you like this person? For me, it's not only you like or dislike, sometimes it just is.
You just can't explain it. It's just a feeling you get when you're around that person. It's like, we're not connecting.
We don't click.
You don't click. There's
right.
something.
I agree with that too,
Yeah.
but there are reasons for that too, because I believe obviously in past lives, so we don't even really know that answer. So if you meet someone like, and I bring us up a lot, because when we first met, we kind of knew each other, right? You knew my artwork, you knew a lot. So how am I drawing things from other lifetimes? For me, it exists, other lives, absolutely. I am a 100% believer. But you don't remember the whole lives that you've had because we've had many. So you can meet a person from another life and still carry that karma with you. So you say to yourself, I believe that we plan our life before we come in. So you can be talking to that person in another dimension or in spirit, however you want to, say you're talking to them, to come back to settle it in this particular lifetime. So you may choose a really bad situation because you don't want to keep repeating that karma. So some of these bad situations which I usually say, can turn out positive, because you're here to settle that. So you don't have to keep repeating it. Now, when I say that, I do need to say that it can skip a lifetime too. It's not everybody that you've had bad karma with comes back in one lifetime. I don't believe that happens. Well, it could, but you'd be a very nervous person at the end of that lifetime. But it's spread out over we have the opportunity to do that. And you know what it's all about? It's about learning. Continue learning and continue learning. And the road just gets more and more situations, and we graduate and we go to another graduation later on in that one.
So how do we begin to see life as a journey of growth rather than life as a struggle?
By believing it. If you have to start somewhere, just believe that these struggles are not wasted, that we're using the opportunity to learn by it. Now, I admit that's very, very difficult when you're going through something. You go, don't give me all that, I don't want to hear it. But if it just sinks in a little bit, I've had a lot of struggles. People that know me know that. I don't talk about it much, but I have had a lot in my lifetime. So I now look back. In fact, I just sent you an article on that. I don't think I would have been the person I am today with this strong belief if I had not had a tough road that I had. It was tough. And it made me where I am. It's brought me to where I am today. But I'm not unique. I think we all have that, actually we have that opportunity to learn. It's a gift maybe we give ourselves. We don't see it in the beginning, but I believe that it is.
Right, because I see where you're at right now. It's a great learning experience,
Oh,
an
that it
opportunity
is.
for growth.
Mhm.
But it's totally uncomfortable.
Very, very uncomfortable.
So, I don't know your situation, Heather, but without that, so look at whatever it is, look at that as a learning experience. Because right away, as soon as you do that, anybody, you then can see, like there's light at the end of the tunnel, because you're seeing it and saying, well, say to yourself, what am I learning from this? You may not want to do that, but it will help you because you can change whatever it is that's going on. I have some idea because I'm psychic, but that's okay. Okay. All right. Okay.
So it's restructuring, I guess, how we see things.
Absolutely, it's restructuring, and people fight against that. I don't want to do this, and if I do, it's going to happen again.
Well, then I think, so it says, what is here to teach or to show me? Perfect example, we've got the fundraiser in 3 weeks. And the sales, things aren't where I would like them to be right now. So what is it showing me? Either I say I'm not doing something right, or I could be doing something more. Or is there a shift that I need to?
You need to dedicate some of your allocate some of them, not dedicate, allocate. They just corrected me, your tasks of what you have to do to someone else. And when you do some of that, that person is learning from that. Because it's not just us. You can only do so much. We all can only do so much. But sometimes it's to give that to somebody else who needs that type of whatever the responsibility is. I'm not just talking about, the fundraiser, with anything in life, because you can pass and give that to somebody else, because they need that sometimes, whatever the situation is.
So I take it as a learning lesson for
a learning
them
lesson.
to learn.
Yes, because you're getting maybe a different point of view or a different learning experience to someone else that may be just starting out doing this. So whatever task that you feel that you know somebody else, you don't even have to worry about them handling it, because if you do that, you're actually helping that person. So just whatever that is, give it to someone else, because you can only do so much, Dawn. We can only take on, we think, well, we can do a lot, but there is a time to just
let
kind
it
of learn and give into
be,
your
let it happen.
tiredness, so to speak, if you want, or whatever it is. I think that's a lesson too, because sometimes we think, well, I'm going to be able to do, not saying you, of course, but people will say, well, they're not going to do it like me, or I need to do that. So people consequently, when they do that, get more and more things that they have to do. But that's also not helpful. You need to say, well, you know what, could you please do that? I find it very, very difficult personally to ask for help. I cannot, people that know me know that. I may need the help, but I can't ask for it. So that's a lesson I really haven't accomplished in this life.
But I guess maybe it's different if you need help going to the grocery store versus I need help in business.
Well, it's different, but it's still asking for help. I can't, if I needed food in the house and I couldn't get out, and if Steve was away, which he is some of the time, for me to pick up a phone and ask, could you get, I would sooner pay for the delivery no matter what it cost, because I'm not bothering somebody else. And that's just me. I need to, it's part of me that can't, there are people like that, but I'm aware of it. So.
Fair enough. All right, so how does curiosity open the door to transformation?
Well, okay, that's a kind of, the curiosity is wanting to find out. So if you want to find out things and you're curious, without the curiosity, you're not going to find out some of the things. And your imagination was the last part of that, did you say?
Transformation.
Transformation. Why did they say imagination to me?
Maybe curiosity is our imagination.
Well, I was going to say that actually. Our curiosity is coming from somewhere. I believe a lot of what we do is from our imagination. Think about someone writing a book or a movie or our own life story. It's come about by us, by our imagination, right? I've often said that, because without an imagination, we make things happen. We manifest many things, if you believe it.
So when I was going to ask you a question, you're going to go, I don't know, I'm older than you and I still have imagination. Do you think curiosity and imagination lessens the older we get?
No.
Well, I'm asking Sally.
I was going to say from a personal experience, not at all. I find that I'm imagining much more and wanting it to happen. But at any age, it doesn't matter. I mean, I look back now, I just was telling you before, I look back on some of my past today that I haven't even thought about. You know, people as they get older, they say, oh, the memories and stuff. Well, I'm here to say, yes, that happens. I'm not thinking about, should I do it differently though? So maybe that may be a little different, because I believe whatever I've done, whatever I've been through the good and bad, has made me who I am now. So it was part of my and people say the harder it is, the more you're becoming aware, because you know, it's like someone, let's say, that's addicted to something. They have to reach the low in that to realize what's actually happening to them. So it's the same thing with anything. When you begin to wanting to stop the way that you've been behaving, or no matter what it is, or even with certain people. If someone keeps bothering you, yes, you can say it's a lesson, but I also believe that you can say enough is enough too. That's just coming to me. I'm learning my lesson. Okay, I got it. Now let's go somewhere else. That may be me saying that or the guides, but I think that's part of humanity too.
Because you talked about tools that we have to make our life better, not as challenging.
Right.
What are some of those tools?
Well, basically, it's up to us, because we all have messages, we all hear things, we all have dreams. That's our subconscious sometimes. It's up to us what we do about it. I think once yes, you can ask for help, that's different, but once you start relying completely on somebody else to do something, then you're kind of allocating, I keep saying dedicating that task to someone, but it doesn't mean to say that you have to put it out of your mind completely. I don't know if this makes sense. Oh, that's the guide talking to me that always says, does this make sense? He always says that. I don't know who it is. He's part of a collective.
So should we ask him?
We can. I've never gone there.
Who is the guy that says...
He's going, it doesn't matter. He'll keep saying, does that make sense? Yes, he's around me. He was in a lifetime about 4 lifetimes ago with me.
And what lifetime was that with you?
I believe it's oh my God, I'm getting my goosebumps. It's the one from the 14th, 15th century, yes. Raphael.
Okay. Was he an artist, a painter?
This was an artist, painter. Not an artist as on the stage, he was a painter. And I see him with a mustache. Like, do you see it? Yeah, with, you know those like bigger mustache?
Like the...
Like,
yeah,
with
the handlebar.
The handlebar.
Yes. Oh my gosh, she's
Word.
absolutely here. Now, I don't know if that's the one that always says, does that make sense? But whoever he is, he's here right now.
And he was with you in the 14th
Yes,
or 15th
he was.
century?
Yes, he was.
And who was he to you then?
He was actually, I say an artist, he was not just a painter, he was an artist. You know, like they had jesters in the court. He was like what we would call today a comedian, but it was a different type of comedy. It was more, it was what I really don't like that particular, like slapstick comedy. And he would perform around in the palaces. Oh my God, I got onto a completely different subject. Let's talk about something else.
But that's pretty cool.
Did you feel the same? Could you feel
So he's with you in this lifetime?
Yes, he's not actually, he's in spirit.
In spirit?
Yes, he is.
And he's guiding you to challenges. So did you have challenges in that lifetime?
He is the one
helped
that
you?
says, does this make sense? Yes, he did. He did. And of course we know Nostradamus was around, so he was part of that whole circle. When we say, and this is really interesting, but maybe we should talk after the show about this, because he was there and Nostradamus gave predictions, but he was there was a circle of friends and he was one of them at that point. I don't usually talk personally about this.
Well, it's okay because he wants you to speak about it.
I guess so. And he is the one that says, does this make sense? He knows it does, but he wants me, when I say sometimes and answer a question, does this make sense? He is the one behind that.
So does this make sense to you, the different tools that we have?
Now it does, yes. Yes, he helped me with that. Yes, because we all have the same tools. We just don't know that we have them. So if something is bothering you, just pull on what your intuition, your imagination is part of your intuition, if you think about it.
So that was the next question. Is intuition considered a tool?
It certainly is, absolutely, because it's a tool that we're pulling from. Anything that can help us with anything, even with the show here right now. I mean, I'm imagining, but I'm also, it's happening to me. But if I didn't know in the first place that I could do this, this came from my own imagination of me listening. I didn't know 20 years ago I'd be sitting here doing this show and not knowing the questions coming to me, and yet I relied on it. So I followed my intuition and imagination and brought me here.
And what would happen if we trust ourselves more fully and we follow that intuition?
Well, I would say we'd have a life of learning. Yes, we'll still get our ups and downs, but as long as when you get that down, which we call negativity, you know there's a way to pull yourself out of it eventually. It helps the down part, that there's a reason why this is happening. You know, people can bring up and say, oh, well, it's easy to say that, Sally, we have this, or health, definitely. But I truly believe, and it's hard, you know, when someone's going, I mean, I lost my own daughter, so I know what it's like to have loss. But there's always a meaning and a purpose why these happen to people, or a tragedy, or even good things. We plan our lives. And having said that, as we're planning our lives, there are certain people around us when we do that, when we are in spirit. And we'll pick out something hard because we want to overcome that. And our spirits, and I believe they're around us when these things happen, they'll say, when you get to that part of your journey, you're going to need our help. Yet we're kind of stubborn and say, no, we're going to be doing it. But guess what? When that part of our journey happens in a way we know, if you know that we will work this out, ask for our guides and they will help us through that because they'd already warned us anyway. We come in saying, no, I'm not changing that.
And we may not know who our guides are by name as if Raphael, but you can blanketly just say, I need your help.
Just say you need your help, absolutely, 100%. And I don't know the names of many of my guides. The only one that I talk about was the one in physicality here, which was Alder, because I know that he's my guide, was before, was after, and will be. He's definitely here. And, you know, I had enough validation from him when all this happened that there's no way that he would leave me because he's in another dimension.
Well, now you got Raphael, too.
Yes, actually that name has come to me before. I just never realized who he actually was. I used to go to Merida sometimes, and the name Raphael used to come to me.
Is there a way for people to strengthen their connection to their inner guidance?
Yes, I'm going to say meditation, but meditation can, you know, there's many ways to meditate. Just listen to your inner voice, yourself, and you eventually will strengthen your own belief system. I mean, this happened to me very suddenly. I mean, I was wide open to all these things happening to me. I didn't know that I could do this, but I now know I had obviously chosen at a certain point in my life to become open to all of this. But I was psychic as a child, but I really didn't understand it. You begin to think, and I've heard many people say that, well, doesn't everybody hear that? You begin to think it's normal as a child. So the things that's strange that I believed were not strange when I was a child were happening to me. I thought everybody else could have the same thing happening. We all can, but it doesn't always happen, and we don't always believe it. Nobody is born without being psychic. We all have that ingrained in us. We just don't know it sometimes.
So you have intuition.
I was going to say, I mean, I think we're not aware of our abilities, and also I think it's a lot more challenging to tap into those abilities nowadays because we're so clouded by all these distractions. We have our phones, we have these constant noises, we have social media. Like,
exactly.
There's so much distracting us from really being able to hone in and
on
our thoughts, on
control.
Our energies and what we're feeling.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we actually were to eliminate these distractions, there'd be a lot more people realizing that, like, wow, I do have this intuition. I do have this, like, inner voice or this inner guidance.
Absolutely, Heather.
Or these psychic abilities.
And that's been manufactured so that we wouldn't all begin to wake up.
Because we'd be too powerful.
We'd be too powerful, absolutely. But what's happening, especially the younger generation today, have come in with more knowing, as you have, you know, and you open up to it more, because I believe now is the time for all this to happen. We hear the indigo children, you know, all these titles, star seeds, because now is the time for us to change that. If we can all understand we've been manipulated, controlled in many ways, we can overcome that, because out of dark will come light. But we do need that balance, because without that dark, and I'm not agreeing to any of it, but we wouldn't know to be light. So that's where that balance comes in. It has to be, I've often said that, we've tipped over to the other side a little bit more. Just look at the world today. But we can change that collectively if everybody, especially the kids today coming in, the younger generation, can change this around and say, well, let's do something. I mean, we're going to have to do something.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So it's come to a point where we can't even say, what can we do? We need to do.
Exactly.
And especially with the younger people. So I'm happy when someone younger than me is beginning to see that, because you can make such a difference now.
Yeah, and not only everyone else's lives, but yours as well.
It starts with you.
It starts with you.
And that's like a ripple effect.
Exactly. It just goes back to having that positive mindset where, like, once you realize you have these abilities and these psychic abilities, if you will.
Once you know you can,
your whole environment will change.
Exactly.
And you'll be able to change people for the better.
That's exactly right. And that's beginning to happen. And it's hard to see that with all the news, and we turn on and we see all that's happening.
Exactly. When we're constantly surrounded by negativity.
Bombarded with all that.
And our brains are wired to be negative. They're hardwired to be. So.
And that's been manipulation for a reason, to keep everybody down a little bit. But the young, I keep saying the younger generation because they're the ones that need to change this to have a better world.
Yeah.
And every time I would speak to anybody and you start talking this way, it'll make a little more sense because we're in a shift right now and we are definitely going to the other side. However, in our thinking, but it has to you have to continually be thinking that way.
Yeah.
And there will be a difference. There absolutely will. But it's still up to us.
Exactly.
Want to take a commercial?
Yeah. Okay, I'll see you back on the other side of this show.
A true story, Call Me Zena, is the telling of Sally Barnard. Born in London, England at the end of the Second World War, she came into the U.S. in 1979. A mother of 2 and a grandmother of 4, she settled in Florida and worked in real estate. While going through a difficult time in her life, she was admitted into a hospital overnight in December of 2005. While settling back into her life, she began having vivid dreams and documenting them. By the 3rd dream, a lady gave her a message to draw. With no artistic background or interest into art or history, Sally listened to her dreams and grabbed a paper and crayons. Today, she has over 150 pieces of inspiring art and poetry. This book follows her journey and interpretations of these messages. She describes in detail how she is able to astral a project and who she has met along her travels, including her spirit guides. This book will show you how anything is possible with an open mind. These events have changed Sally's life and direction, and this book will show you how to change yours. Purchase Call Me Zena on Amazon today, authorhouse.com and amazon.com.
Thank you for joining me through this journey of self-discovery with the help of my spirit guides. I'm Sally Barnard, and you can find my book at authorhouse and amazon.com or visit my art on my clothing in my boutique at artbysallybarnard.com. Now back to the show. Hi, welcome back everybody. We were just talking and I'm saying that I feel like I'm so happy that you're sitting here because there are many years between us. But just to see a younger generation, it's so important. I think part of my job is to actually talk to the younger people because they're definitely coming in with what Aldo never said knowledge, he always called it knowing. It's a knowing that you have. And the more people that I can talk to of a younger generation, it's not hard to find people younger than me at this point. I'll just say, okay, you know, we need to have not an open mind, but we need to realize that this is very important. So that automatically opens your mind to whatever is happening. Why is all this happening? Why have we got all these wars? It's sad. It's the control,
unfortunately,
that we have put upon us. Well, we have had contributed to it because we've all been part of being controlled. We need to say, stop it, no more. Let's see what we can do.
And you talked about life choices versus the cards we're dealt.
Yes.
Is there a difference?
Well, our cards are dealt through us. It's up to us again because we deal our own cards, so to speak. So yes, our cards were dealt, if we can understand, maybe to have a difficult life, to overcome these obstacles. So basically, there is a difference. I always forget the beginning part of the first question. The cards were dealt.
The cards were dealt, or, and that made me think about it. The cards were dealt are choices that we make.
Yes, because if you think that maybe when we made these decisions, we were not here yet because we make them outside of this dimension. So we're doing things to overcome a lot of these things so that we can go further along in our journey. So we're not getting caught up with all the things that have happened. Let's get rid of a lot of that, which we now can call karma if you want, and start afresh with something else. There's always going to be things happening because even if we've overcome most of, say, in this third dimension, when we go to the next, there's going to be other things. We're here to learn. However, we have free will and we have a choice whether we want to come back or not too. Apparently, from what I understand, most of us don't want to leave the journey. We may want to leave it here and say, enough is enough, I'm not coming back. But apparently, when we're in spirit, we change our mind and we want to go along with the journey. Many people have said to me, oh, after this one, they're not going to take, get that when their time is up.
They wouldn't come back? I'd come back.
Yes. When you begin to learn more, why
Yeah.
not? Why
Yeah.
not? It's like leaving a book in the middle and not finishing the end of the book. So people, well, an answer to that was, let's have a look at the end of the book and see what's going on. But
Would you come back?
I definitely want to come back. And I want to come back to this planet, but I would like to change. I know that I've been here for many years. I'm from somewhere else, which we all are. But why not? I want to come back knowing what I know now.
So your awareness.
Imagine like, so if you know what you know about how your life turns out and the choices you make, would you come back and do it all again?
Well, we have an opportunity to go through that because we have a life review. So to come back, but I want to remember. Most people, we come in and we forget.
Yes.
But I've got to a point that I really, truly, to the best of my knowing, I understand that we may forget. But I had help here from someone that remembered all his lifetimes. You only bring in the ones that are relevant for this lifetime, who Aldo knew at a year old. He was talking fluently and was reading newspapers, so he has proof of that. People saw that because he had reached that point that he came in now basically to help me, if you think about it, because he ended up finding me. I would be in that position. I may not be as advanced as Aldo was, but I want to ultimately get to that point to help other people here.
How amazing, though. I say this every time, that Aldo came in to find you, to help you. Do you ever look at that and say, I have to have been someone extra with a greater calling because you had Aldo who actually came and found you? Do you feel like your life purpose or mission is that much greater than someone who doesn't have that?
For me personally, yes, because he said to me and told me that I knew what I know now in that particular lifetime, which you know about. But I had this dormant for the next few lifetimes because of the responsibility that I had in that lifetime. But he knew, or whether we had a discussion about that outside of here in spirit, that I was going to come back and remember what I already knew. Because it doesn't leave you. When you leave here and you get to a certain point, you can bring that into your next lifetime. We choose to forget, but what you've learned is still there, even if it's from 10 lifetimes ago. So I chose to remember in this lifetime. How in the world was I painting, never been an artist, and drawing from other lifetimes? They were in the history books because it was part of history, my life at that point. But I didn't know that. And I'm drawing and pulling. So I was giving myself these messages. But what happened, Aldo came in at that particular point to let me know that I was beginning to wake up. I didn't even know what he was talking about. But I couldn't deny what was happening to me and with my astral travels.
But you stayed positive. You think about kids who come in. Most kids are happy when they come into this lifetime. And it's life that changes them. And those aren't the choices they're making consciously. Sometimes those are the choices that are being made by others. And as we get older, maybe our perspective isn't as joyful as it was when we were a child. Can we shift that and stay positive?
Yeah, there's a couple of reasons for that, Dawn, because we do pick our lives, although we have free will too. So we have free will as far as our lives are going to go. But as a child, we know no different. We can only learn from people around us and what we hear and see on the news. So we're actually controlled by all this negativity. So they're not being who they really are. We're given a name, we're given our parents, we're given everything. We don't think for ourselves. Well, that's part of life. But the moment, as we get into this more, to teach younger children that there is another way, because if the kids today that are having children have woken up sufficiently, they can help their children. So this ends up a better lifetime. There are many different planets, and that's quite open now. I mean, there will be disclosure, which has been here. Live differently to us. This is a very difficult, negative planet, especially now. But it doesn't have to be that way. It can change. If we all start to understand that there's more, so younger generation that are having their children and they turn around and say they're walking around with an imaginary friend, instead of saying, oh, come on, it's dinner time or whatever, say to them, well, what does the imaginary friend look like? They're seeing someone. Why do children have imaginary friends? Because they've still got a little bit of what they remember from not being here. But instead of closing them down let's do something about that. Let's say, well, you know, maybe the imaginary friend would like to have dinner with us, or they should all sit together for dinner. That doesn't happen anymore either.
Did you do that when your kids were little?
No.
But now you look back and
But
say,
now I look back because I didn't know that I knew. My daughter certainly was very, very psychic. My son is too. But I never really went into. I never thought about. Although I could see people, it is a hereditary thing too that we do pass down to families. But it's up to us, and if the parents know, they can help. I think many more parents today do listen to their children. They've had many situations when children have said, "Well, you were not my mummy and a mum in another lifetime." Why are you here? They remember their last mum or dad. And that's been proven. People, places, and things where that's been openly in the news, where someone was a pilot and he knew the names and everything. This child was talking about it. They looked up, how does a child of 2, 3 know history? And they've opened it up and seen it exist. So all these little things add up, and people are beginning to realize there was more than what we just see here now. Because we have the internet too, which we never had as a child, and all these things are now spreading to other people.
There's so many questions here, Sally.
Okay.
All right. We talked about life experiences. Can challenges actually be opportunities in disguise?
100%, because that's what we were talking about earlier, right? If we don't have those challenges, we're not necessarily going to learn. We can't just sail through life. And if we do, why are we here?
What's the point of living if you're
That's
not going to
right.
have
Why
challenges?
are we here? Exactly. You just answered exactly what I was thinking. So they're talking to you now. Okay. From someone that wasn't sure that they wanted to be on the show and talk, you're doing a very good job.
I wonder if I have spirit guides.
Yeah.
So that'll talk
They're
to me.
saying hello.
Does Heather have spirit guides?
Yeah, we all do. Every one of us has spirit guides. It's just that we don't know that we do.
Mm-hmm.
So when you I was joking with you, but they're here with you. Absolutely. Nobody comes in this world on their own, and nobody leaves here, because when we go to the other side, we are all greeted by somebody. Always. That I am absolutely. When you hear other people, they'll speak the same way. Because you see, when someone's passing, they wave to people. That's very often if you talk to,
I think my spirit guides are yelling at me because I can't hear them. They're talking to me. I can't hear them.
They are.
So
They're getting aggravated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
You're doing a good job, though. I'm trying to tell you. They're telling me that I'm doing a good job. The fact that you're on the show here, right? Well, that is a train.
Train horn.
Okay.
There you have it.
Yeah.
So is Elizabeth still here with us?
She never leaves you, Dawn. I mean, she can go. Go off, and she's more your guide than mine. But she knew me too. So there are many guides, but she's just ask her, because they're always available. Actually, they're always available. All you have to do is ask, and then listen to yourself. Listen. They'll follow. They'll do right. They'll do right by you. That's what they're saying.
Always do.
Yeah.
Okay. What does it mean to be the creator of your own life experience?
Listen to your own intuition. Believe that you can you can manifest whatever you want when you begin to see that happening. But you have to believe that and expect it. I mean, sometimes it doesn't happen right away. I mean, you can say the most crazy things. I want this, this, and this. But be truthful with yourself too, and you'll see it will follow that pattern. Long as you believe this, as long as you believe it.
And I guess part of it is building confidence.
The fact of building confidence that this is real, that's very important. This is real, because you can suddenly say, people will say, oh, well, that was going to happen anyway. But think about that. People often say, oh, well, that was coincidence. No, it's synchronicity. Most of the time it's synchronicity, trying to tell you and your guides that why some of the things are unexplainable with synchronicity. So it's questioning is, how in the world did that happen? And then it happens again, the same thing. I mean, how does that happen? I talk to my TV because I ask Aldo, I know him by name. And I'll say, give me a message, I'll turn the TV. It happened when he was here even. I said something, which I'll tell you in a second. And I'll see and hear exactly what I'm meant to hear. And I'm not alone with that. And I remember one time I said, fiddlesticks is an English expression, I never say it. and I was sitting with him watching a program, and I said, fiddlesticks, I have to say that to you. 2 minutes later, whatever we were watching together, whether he made it happen or I did, I don't know, the word fiddlesticks came up. That's when I was sitting with him. But his answer, I say, how did that happen? He looks at me and says, it's to be expected. All the time, he used to just say it's to be expected.
You see, I feel like I'm always asking for signs, like physical signs, because I can't hear a voice in my head. It just doesn't work for me. Like, I sometimes hear a voice and I'm like, that's
Okay.
like my own thought. So I'll ask for like a physical sign, but then I won't get anything. And I'm like,
Okay, first of all, you have a sign, because the 1111 is my sign. I've known about this for 20-something years, I write it in my first book about 1111. You have that sign on you. That's a sign, so you were getting something that told you to do that. There are books. But as long as you say whatever you feel that you're not going to get the answer or there's no signs, well, it's like we said in the beginning of the show. You're not going to get them, but believe that you will get a sign. I mean, I'm not saying look around all the time for a sign, because it doesn't work that way either. But suddenly, randomly, you'll say, oh my gosh, yes, I asked for that, and there it is. There are signs all around you. But I always find a parking space, no matter what. People knew me from years ago. Doesn't matter, it's pouring with rain and you can't get something. People that know me before I knew that I could do this. So I say to myself, if I say I don't think we're going to find a parking space, guess what happens on the rare occasions? I do not find a parking space. But most people that know me will tell you, Mindy will.
I'm going to start driving around with you more.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just something, I didn't even realize it, but I do know today, because I say, oh, let's go with Sally, because she gets the parking spaces.
Yeah.
I used to actually drive through a parking lot and ask the fairies to find me a space. And literally, there it would be.
There's a very good example.
But I think when I was younger, I used to have this fun way about doing these things.
It's naivety.
And it just would always work. Mm-hmm. So now that I'm older, I think I'm trying too hard.
Well, that's
and I'm
exactly.
pushing too
We're too
hard
much in our heads.
with these other
Yeah.
business things that where I used to just flow and
Let
happen.
it flow. I was just going to say, go with the flow. Now, the parking is an example. As a child, you could ask for it. Today, you will find it, because you used to be able to do that. You don't even have to ask, because then I think it changes the vibration slightly. But go with the flow. You know, I've had a very difficult week not difficult, but with a lot of problems I've had to solve this week with stuff that I don't normally have. And I have to do it in a certain space of time. But I'm getting satisfaction, because I said to myself, oh, I have a lot to do today. I handle it. At the end of the day, I said, oh, look at the difference between in the morning to the evening. Otherwise, I'd just bog myself down, say, oh, I've got this to do, I've got that to do. But the satisfaction I get knowing that even if I have not quite accomplished what I was setting out to do, because I'm in the process of moving and you know the story, at least I've started the journey, and that makes a very big difference in my mind today. I'm trying not to get overwhelmed with it. Little by little, one day at a time. A little bit achieved today, the next day.
And it's all mindset, because things happen if you have a good team around you. And I feel like the right people come. Like I was looking for a new accountant, and Russell had given me the name of an accountant. And I called him, and he was lovely and everything that was great. And then he gave me his email. And his email, his initials are the same initials as my dad. And so I knew it was Russell delivering the message from my dad. So I knew it was meant to be. Now, did I stress about getting him all the information? Right. Yes. Did I stress about giving him my taxes? Yes. I should not have.
No.
Because he was sent as a sign through Russell and my dad that this was the man to use.
That's exactly
But
right.
yet I still stressed, because that's just my own
Well, there's
stuff.
something about Russ, because his tag number is my daughter's initials. And when I first met him, it was exactly.
Do you think Russ
that
is
way.
even real? Or do you think we...
We thought him up. We dreamed him up, and, and he just went poof
He's
into
about
the
the
reality.
only person that comes in here that's older than me.
And the guy's email was literally enough for me to stop and pause. Even though I knew his name, I never would have pulled his initials out knowing that's what. And my dad used to always
that's
wear an
not
initial ring, so I
There
knew
you
it was
go.
like a sign of him saying,
It's
this
not
is it.
coincidence, it's synchronicity, because
Right.
they're trying to, you know that. They're getting hold of you. They're giving you messages, no matter how they do it. But they will do it when we...
But we have to be aware of them,
You've got to
right?
be aware of it. But if you actually following this path, you become more aware. That's what actually happens. Because I'm not saying you expect, well, this is going to happen because I'm getting helped. But when you do get helped along the way, these little signs are there. There's signs all around us all the time. And you say, oh, that's right, of course, because I asked for help, but I didn't expect it. Very often it'll happen and you don't expect it, but you ask for it, good and bad.
I ask for
My
help all
voice
the
is
time.
going again.
You ask for help all the time? You ask for signs and help all the time?
Lately, I have been asking for signs for sure. Am I getting them? I don't think I am, but we'll see.
Little by little, Heather.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know. My voice goes always on this show. I mean,
I know. You want to take a break?
no, I'm good. I'll be all right. Just know that don't force what's going to happen, but believe that it's going to happen, no matter what it is. Follow your own intuition. I knew I had to give a message. And I think it's for you. Okay. Just believe in yourself. That's the most important, and believe that there is something greater that's helping you. So every time you're stuck in the road, so to speak, like a fork, just know that this is happening for a reason. And as it corrects itself, which it will do, it's just how long it takes. But
It's raining.
it's raining. The more you believe in this, the more it will be quicker for you. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I knew it was going to rain. I said it was going to rain at 4 o'clock.
You're
Wow.
pretty close there, Sally.
Yeah.
You're pretty close. I
Three-
think a lot of people are in transition. Sometimes I feel as if this is a transition portal. And I watch faces. It's almost like people moving in slow motion until they rev up. I don't know. It's weird sometimes just to watch it. And I literally have to sit back and let everyone go through the steps. Like today, to go through the steps that everyone's going through and at their own momentum, even though it's not my speed.
Right.
Because I'm like, 80 miles an hour and then I hit a wall and then I go back again. But not everybody is like that.
No, they're not. But if you look at it from a different
Perspective,
mindset,
right.
perspective, everybody has their own journey, Dawn. So even though it's kind of crossing over into your path, remember they're also on a journey. So if you can accept a lot of these things, or so it's like, say, okay, I've got to do that. But when it starts, let someone else continue that ball rolling somewhere else and start on the next one. The main thing is don't go crazy and it'll happen. Even if it takes a day, no matter what it is, the more we slow down and believe that it's going to happen, it will.
But it's literally little by little. It's like
Well,
all the
that's
emails, I may get one reply, but that one reply is a big one.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or all the texts. I made it 10:30.
Well,
I
that
may
was
get one
Aldo's
back.
expression, little by little, little by little.
One is better than none.
Exactly. And that one escalates into another one, into another one. And then you'll say, oh my gosh, if that first one had not have happened, something else would not have happened. Excuse me.
So changes in mindset and everything. And then the cards were dealt.
Well, yes, because we're dealing our own cards.
dealing our own cards.
So I guess when they stop
Interesting.
dealing them, that's when we transition. We've accomplished what we're meant to accomplish. But everyone is at their own pace. I'm speeding up what I'm learning because I want to learn more. So I try to listen more of what I watch, even, I say Gaia or YouTube, because I'm fascinated absolutely about space. I always have been. So I like to listen to programs of disclosure and things that are happening that are right there, but people don't accept it yet. Well, they're beginning to. They're definitely beginning to. That's my journey.
Now, everyone is here for their life's purpose. Do you think that when they find that path, their purpose, for that moment, because your purpose now at 20 may not be your purpose at 50, things fall more into alignment and life becomes a little bit, I want to say, easier at that moment in time? It's more fluid, it flows easier?
Because you're following your passion. And once you start to follow your passion, things fall more into place. You don't get as tired because you're doing something that you want to do. How many people say, this isn't work, this is my hobby? That to me is you're following your passion. So many people go into work and say, oh, another day, I hope it's 9 o'clock, I just want 5 o'clock to be here. So they're not appreciating what maybe that job might be giving them, or just say, I'm done with this and go to another job. Trust that if you do that, you're following your passion too.
Do you think your purpose is different now than it was when
Well,
you met Aldo? or before
yeah,
Aldo?
but he's made me aware of it, because one of his last words, and he said to many times, be my mouthpiece. But I don't know what he was talking about in the beginning. I mean, what do I know? How can I be your mouthpiece? However, little by little, I was learning, and obviously I was ready when he passed, because nearer the end of his journey, he said to me, be my mouthpiece.
Do you think we have one set purpose for a lifetime, or is it always evolving, like through each phase of our life?
That's a good question, because I think that's up to us too as an individual, because you can accomplish one. You're always learning, but then you can go on to another one. I mean, I think that's an individual choice. You know, I think I had a couple of life purposes here. So hopefully I'm accomplished them by doing this. To me, I love doing what I'm doing. And everybody, that's an individual thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think my purpose, and maybe it always was, and everything was just in alignment to get me to this point.
Well, when you're happy, basically, in what you're doing with life, then you're following what they would call passion. It doesn't necessarily have to be.
Yeah, and it just goes back to like everything happening for a reason.
And
when you were getting your degree, you never realized that what you were getting your degree in would be perfect for what it is you're doing now. You never would have expected
That's
to do what it
correct.
is you're doing now.
Absolutely.
So it's like,
But
funny.
and you're younger, so you're going to see, and you don't have that much to remember with what you're doing. You were not that long in college or wherever you were, so you can see that. But go through your life that way, Heather. Being here, maybe even sitting here on the show. I don't know, whatever it is. You might say, from not wanting to necessarily sit here, I think you're enjoying this,
I
right?
had a great time.
So there we go. So you might say, oh, that's why I sat there. You know what? I like this. That's up to you, right?
yeah, exactly.
All right, what is one of the simplest mindset shifts that can change someone's entire day? You talk about this all the time.
Well, the most important, your mind shift is to see, it's to see what's happening that you may want to happen, suddenly happen. Just believe that it can, believe that it can happen. I still get that moment, and I go, oh, I wanted that. Oh, it arrived. I don't want to lose that. Now, Stephen, if he's listening, which he probably is, on the other hand, I'll say, guess, look, that happened. He'll go, yeah. He sounds like Aldo in a way, because Aldo used to do the same thing. But he doesn't show too much emotion about when it happens, but I do. Aldo used to expect, it's okay. Everybody shows it in a different way. But you know, the most important to this whole thing is to have gratitude when it happens. Just be gratitude around you for wherever you are, what you're doing, anything. Just have gratitude and you'll see it will continue.
And I think the other thing right now, everyone is so busy. So when you're asking for help, physical help, or you send a text or an email, you need to send it multiple times or ask again. And we had, today I kept asking someone to call back and said, I'm so sorry, there was a death in the family. I'm sorry I hadn't gone back to you. So it's not as if you shouldn't take it personally that someone's
Right.
actually avoiding you. Everyone's got their own busy lives. So it's okay in this time, in this day and age, to continue to ask. Whereas before, it was like a nuisance and you didn't want to ask people. But I think times have changed so much and everyone's so busy and with social media and just being bombarded by media that we have to ask not to be a nuisance, but to ask. And finally it was, are you okay?
Yeah, yeah.
And you
It's-
realize then people reply, no, I'm not. Or I need
Well,
help.
everything has changed so
Yeah.
much, because when I was younger, I mean, I remember when answering machines suddenly appeared, and it was so nice actually. When you think about it, you were out and you didn't have to worry about anything, or somebody calling you that you may or may not wanted to hear from. And I remember thinking, oh, I've got the answering machine on now. I'm going to have to listen to the messages. But my goodness, we've come a long way from that.
know.
We carry our answering machine around with us all day and all night, right? So obviously our minds have changed. Everything has changed, but bring it down to the basics. That's what they're trying to tell me, I think. Be basic. I heard the other day, and I know we're nearly at the end of the show, where there are restaurants today that, and if you choose to go there, you actually put your phone away and they keep it for you till you go back, you have your food. And I think that's a really good way to go. for me personally, I think that it will help the younger generation too become more aware of what's going
More in
on
tune.
around them. Schools now are saying having more rules. This is going into the positive direction. Yes, technology is there, and there's a lot of really good with AI, but that's a whole nother show. There's good and bad with everything. And the good, I mean, I'm using ChatGPT like crazy. I think it's great. But, you know, I mean, who would have imagined that when I was a child? They think, my God, the spirits are definitely talking to us, right? You have what? They're talking on your phone? Yeah, they are. And it's good.
It's funny. All right, so before we wrap up, can we ask your collective a message of encouragement, hope, and alignment?
Well, I think little by little, just spread, you know, the information, even what we've got today here with younger kids, with anybody that wants to listen, because you can't make someone listen. But the more that we can shed light, so to speak, and that's a good expression, on this whole thing, because we are in a mess here. I mean, just turn on the news and we'll see what's going on. We don't know from one day to another what the heck's going on. Try to rise above that. Look at life like you're just looking at it. Don't get caught up into it, and hopefully we'll change a little bit, little by little.
See, I don't really think we're in a mess. I think the mess is what they want us to feel,
Well,
to numb it, to dumb it down. So the light, our internal light, and what we have to offer as humanity
that's right.
is not as visible or
And
lit
they're
up.
really good. We don't forget the good with the bad here
Right.
too. We've got some really good people here that will
Right.
go help you. You can be in an accident, people
So
will
it
jump
looks
out.
like we're in a mess.
It's meant to look like we're. It doesn't
Exactly.
necessarily mean that's a good way to end it. It's meant to look like that. It isn't necessarily what it
So
is.
there's your message of hope.
There we go.
All right.
Okay, guys, thank you. Tune in this time next week. And I think we stopped the rain because I have to drive home, and I don't like driving home in the rain. Perfect timing. See you guys next week. Tune in. Oh, and tune into YouTube. There you can get all the back. I need to say that
Tell them
more.
like,
actually.
follow, and share on YouTube.
Yeah, like, follow, and share on YouTube. Thank you. Please do that. Then I'll get my views up a little bit and like the show. Thank you. You have been watching Call Me Zena with your host, Sally Barnard. As an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer, know that you can always seek me out for resources by visiting artbysallybarnard.com. Join us next week, Mondays at 2:30. Have a blessed